Hello and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. A long-running campaign to give greater protection to free speech by removing the word insulting from Section 5 of the Public Order Act is finally set to become law. The government has announced that it will accept a House of Lords amendment to the Act proposed by former HM Inspector of Constabulary, Lord Deer. The amendment called for the removal of the words insulting words or behaviour, which in recent years have led to many controversial police arrests, including those of Christian street preachers. Home Secretary Theresa May told Parliament that, having heard legal advice, the amendment would be included as part of the Crime and Courts Bill.
Looking at past cases, the Director of Public Prosecutions could not identify any where the behaviour leading to a conviction could not be described as abusive as well as insulting. He has stated that the word insulting could safely be removed without the risk of undermining the ability of the CPS to bring prosecutions. On that basis, the government is not minded to challenge the amendment made in the other place.
Campaign group Reform Section 5, who have been pushing for the law to be changed, welcome the news. The group is backed by the National Secular Society, the Peter Tatchell Foundation and the Christian Institute. Campaign Director Simon Calvert gave this reaction to the Home Secretary's announcement.
Well, we're absolutely delighted. The government has done the right thing by accepting the House of Lords amendment to strip insults out of Section 5. People of all shades of opinion have come off worst at the hands of Section 5, and so that means an awful lot of people are now happy at what the government has done. It's a good day for free speech.
Judges at the European Court of Human Rights have handed down their rulings in the cases of 4 British Christians who claimed that the UK government had failed to protect their human rights. Lillian Ladele, the Christian registrar who was forced out of her job at Islington Council because of her stance against conducting civil partnerships, lost her case on a majority vote. 5 of the judges rejected her claim. However, 2 further judges believed that she had suffered discrimination because of her traditional Christian beliefs on marriage. Miss Ladele's case had been backed by the Christian Institute, and spokesman Mike Judge gave this reaction to Sky News.
I think that there needs to be a bit of compassion for understanding that people with traditional beliefs about marriage shouldn't then be thrown out of their careers just for holding that view. Islington Borough Council could have fulfilled its legal obligations to provide civil partnership services to the public without requiring Miss Ladele's involvement, and that would have been a much more balanced approach.
NHS worker Shirley Chaplin and relationship counsellor Gary McFarlane also lost their cases, but Nadia Eweida did win her case against British Airways. The court ruled that she had suffered discrimination when BA stopped her from wearing a cross at work. Miss Eweida says her victory sends out an important message.
It means that Christians can move around more freely in their workplace without recrimination or discrimination. It gives them the opportunity to display their faith symbols on par with other colleagues who are allowed to display their faith symbols, really.
Identical twins who were deaf and going blind but not terminally ill have been given lethal injections to end their lives at a hospital in Belgium. Mark and Eddie Verbessem, who were reported not to be experiencing physical pain, were euthanised at Brussels University Hospital. The twins, aged 45, who were born deaf, lived and worked together and said they could not imagine life if they went blind. Under Belgian law, a doctor must judge that patients are unbearably suffering and make clear their wish to be killed. Professor Wim Distelmans, the doctor who allowed the killing, said he was certain that the twins met all the conditions for euthanasia. But Dr. Chris Gossmans, a professor of medical ethics, asked, "Is this the only humane response that we can offer in such situations? It seems that euthanasia is the only right way to end life, and I think that's not a good thing. We must find another, caring way to deal with human frailty." Leading lawyer Aidan O'Neill QC says plans to change the meaning of marriage could leave the Church of England open to legal challenge under human rights law. The government is proposing that the established church would have an exemption from carrying out same-sex marriages. But Mr O'Neill warned that because the Church of England has a legal obligation to marry anyone in their local parish, the exemption is eminently challengeable in the European Court of Human Rights. The BBC is moving an established primetime Christian radio show to 6 o'clock in the morning. The Radio 2 programme, called Sunday Half Hour, has been broadcast since 1940 and covers biblical themes, spiritual reflection and hymns. But now the BBC has said the show is to move from its 8:30 Sunday evening slot to 6 in the morning, with the programme being extended to an hour long and renamed the Sunday Hour. Some listeners have described the change on Twitter as an insult and unfair, and one tweet said, "Moving from 8:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. looks like marginalisation." But announcing the change, the show's presenter Diane Louise Jordan said people who are still asleep would be able to catch up online, and a spokesman for Radio 2 said the decision to move the programme has not been taken lightly, and claimed that early Sunday mornings actually reach a much wider audience than Sunday evenings. Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.